PP. The weather today is looking great. So I woke up this morning with positive energy, positive vibes. Right now in my kitchen, and I'm ready to make some nice stew out of fresh tomatoes and fresh fish. So right now in my sink, as you all can see, I do have my fresh. It is called Kroger fish. I still have to cut them up into the required sizes so that it will give the food a nice, nice look when the meal is actually ready. And this other side, I also have my fresh toast. You guys can see it. I already have hot water poured onto it to take out the skin out of the tomato, because sometimes with the skin it turns to give people reflux when they eat food. So I usually steam water and then pour it onto the tomato, and sometimes I will cover it up for it to peel quick, or sometimes I just use my hand to take out the peelings out of the tomato. And other things that I'll be using to make up the nice dish is a sardine. I always use sardine with my stew to add a perfect aroma to it. Then 2 onions, which is usually the red and the white onions. I like to blend these 2 onions together because they tend to have different antioxidants as well as different aromas to the food. Then I have my sweet yellow pepper, a stick of celery, and then 2 sticks of the leeks. And then other ingredients that I usually add to really make the food so tasteful is salt, which usually I use only a pinch of it. And then I have some honey cube or Maggi cube. It's, I grew up with this particular one a lot. Each time when we're cooking, we always tend to add that to food. And then obviously I have my canola oil. You can use your own that you like. We do have the corn oil, or you can also use the vegetable oil, or if you like, you use the olive oil. But I always tend to like purchase what you think you can get. So I go with the canola oil. And then I also have other tropical seasonings that I use. The white pepper, as well as the perfect seasoning for all fishes, meats, and poultry. So right now I'm gonna go and cut the fish into required sizes, and then move ahead to start with the stew preparation. Yes, so after taking off the scale and fish, as you can all see, into the required sizes, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer the fish into a green bowl, then spice the fish up before putting it in the grill. So after seasoning everything, after seasoning the fish, it's right here in the bowl. Now you can leave it, to like spice off for like 3 or 5 minutes or even longer. But for the sake of my little ones, my toddlers, I always like to spice it just for like 3-4 minutes, and then transfer the fish right into the oven fryer. Some people call it oven fryer, some people call it grill. So I'm gonna transfer the fish into my oven fryer, and when I'm putting the fish in, I always make sure that it should be separate from one another and not overlapping, so that it doesn't get packed up together and not cook or fried out or air fried very well. So when I'm using the air fryer, that's usually how I put the fish inside the air fryer, so that it doesn't get packed up together, but give a little bit of ample spaces so that the heat could heat the fish very well and make it air fry. Because I always make it in a large quantity, so I tend to always make like 2 ovens of oven fry before I finally get a whole pot of meal ready. So I'm gonna air fry the fish ×2. I have the fish right here, about to put it into the oven fryer. So I have the oven fryer already plugged on, so I put it in, touch the on button, and then I heat air fry. Once as it cooks until it beeps, I know that it's ready, and then I just come back and take it out. So after peeling off the tomatoes, as you guys can all see, these are the peelings, the chaffs and the dirty stuff and the seeds. I then put it in the blender and then go ahead and blend the tomato. Cover it up and then take it to the blender. After blending the tomato, I then look for a nice pot, pour it in there, and then I add like 2 cups of water, which is equivalent to 480 no, 3 cups of water, which is equivalent to 750 cc's or ml. Then I get the tomato boiled for a good 30 minutes before I add other spices that I blended. As the tomato sauce is cooking and the fish is still in the oil in the oven fryer, then I go ahead and blend the white onions, some of the red onions, the sweet yellow peppers, and the leeks. I like to blend these ones, but the other red onions, half of the red onions, and the celery are those that I usually slice to put in the stew or in the tomato sauce. Once as the tomato sauce has been cooking for 30 minutes, I then put the remaining other spices, which is the red onions. I like to slice that one before I put in the pot, and then I also have the other blended spices. Then I add them to the pot and give it again another cook for another 30 minutes or 40 or so that the spices get cooked very well and makes the food yummy when we eat. Once as I've added my sliced red onions and the blended spices, I give it a good stir so that you can mix up the tomato sauce very well as it's boiling without forming crumbs. So I give it a good stir, and also I add a little bit of oil into the pot as I'm cooking, which is usually a little bit of the canola oil. So you can see me boiling. Yeah, a little bit more. All right, and then I also add a little pinch of salt. So usually I don't go by measuring, since I already know how to do this. So this is usually how I add my salt to my food. Bet me, it never go too salty. It's usually enough, and sometimes it's not enough, but it's rather to be no salt at all than to have excess salt in your food, because too much salt, too much oil nowadays is not good with the human health, because it's a lot of trouble instead of keeping you fit and healthy. Yeah, and then I give it again a good stir, then cover the pot and let it cook for a good 25 minutes. And while the tomato sauce is cooking, I then pause my oven fryer to check on the fish. And at this time, I think it should be ready, as I take it out and then put the last load into the fryer. Yeah, it looks great. This is the most healthier way to make your fish. Instead of dipping it into hot oil, I usually like to make it air fry nowadays to again cut out the amount of cholesterol in the food, so as to keep the heart healthy. This is the first set of fish. I'm gonna go ahead now and put the second set of fish into the oven fryer and do the same for like 30 minutes. Again, I put the fish separately so that when it's cooking, I have equal amount of heat distributing every single piece of the fish. Then I put it again in the oven fryer and cook it again for a good 30 minutes. As the tomato sauce is cooking, you open it up from time to time and stir it so that it doesn't get burned from the bottom. As you can see, it's already forming the paste which makes it tomato sauce, or the stew that we the desired stew that we want. So I then go ahead and then open up my sardine. As you can see, I dumped out the oil out of the sardine, and then I put it in the pot so that it cooks again with the tomato paste for the remaining 10 minutes. The sardine actually adds a good aroma to the food, and so I always like to have the sardine in this stew. Sometimes I'll open two, but depending on the quantity of the tomato sauce, like this one, I just open up one because I didn't make that much quantity of tomato. And then when I add the sardine, I also add now the celery at this stage so that it cooks together with the sardine. Then I cover the pot up for it to cook for another 10 minutes. So I checked the last set of fish in the air fryer and see if it's ready to transfer it into the tomato sauce. It looks perfect, it looks ready. So I'm gonna go ahead now and transfer this other fish right into the other plate that has the previous set, and then continue the cooking. I then open up the stew again, stir it, taste the amount of salt that I had previously put to see if the salt is okay or if I need to add a little more pinch of it. Give it a good stir so that it doesn't get burned from the bottom of the pot. And then I taste it. I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more of a pinch of the salt. Then I'm gonna be putting the fish also, sprinkle it just a little bit. That's how I usually put salt in food. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the honey cube Maggi, we call it, from Cameroon, and give it a quick stir alongside with the fish. Once I've added the honey cube Maggi, I go ahead, stir it, test it to make sure that the food is just enough, or the meal spices are just enough. Then I transfer the fish into my cooking pot. I don't do it one at a time, so I just dump it into my cooking pot. Then I give it a little gentle stir. As you guys can all see, the tomato sauce is almost ready. I try to make sure that I don't put too much oil in my food, because you know, too much cholesterol, again, it's not good, it's not healthy. And so I try to really practice a healthy habit when I'm home and in my cuisine. I'm gonna leave it now to like simmer again for like 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'll turn off the gas and the food will be ready to serve, either with rice or with sweet plantains. And for today, I'm gonna be serving it with rice. Now I open up the pot again. I give it a gentle stir so that I don't scatter the fish. And I see that the food is ready. Nice base, nice tomato sauce. And I'm gonna go ahead and serve it for the kids so that they can eat. It's lunchtime and time for them to eat. I like to put a lot of tomato sauce on their food so that when they eat it, they get a good taste of it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the fire and then go ahead and feed my my 2-year-old. He's right here, he's hungry, and you know, he really wants to eat. Thank you guys. Time preparing this meal, and now it's time to eat the food. Very yummy. Thank you guys, and see you on my next video. Bye.